This is The Daily Divide. The government is moving to repeal a tax law used to investigate how much the wealthy really pay, a move critics say shields the rich from scrutiny. The clause, Section 17GB, allowed Inland Revenue to demand information for policy advice and was behind last year's report showing 311 of New Zealand's wealthiest families worth $86 billion paid just 9.4% of tax, less than half the rate of middle-income Kiwis. Revenue Minister Simon Watts says repealing the law better protects taxpayer privacy, but officials warned it will weaken future tax advice. Tax Justice Aotearoa calls it a blindfold on the IRD, while Taxpayers Union celebrated the end of what they dubbed David Parker's Snoopers Charter. The bill is expected to pass within months as Labour faces pressure to clarify its own tax policy, with capital gains and wealth taxes looming as election debates heat up. Nurses staged two major strikes this week, with more than 36,000 NZNO members walking off the job over pay and unsafe staffing. The action forced the postponement of over 13,000 surgeries and appointments, prompting Health Minister Simeon Brown to plaster a sign on his office blaming the union for disruption. Nurses say a pay rise above 3% and guaranteed safe staffing are non-negotiable, while Health New Zealand says it's only just learned of that demand and is urging talks to resume. Meanwhile, actors demanding New Zealand pull out of the Paris Climate Accord unless it's reformed, arguing net zero targets punish farmers and drive up costs without real environmental gain. But Prime Minister Christopher Luxon has ruled out quitting, warning it would hurt farmers, exports and damage trade. ACT and New Zealand First remain at odds with National, which signed up to the Global Pact in 2016. Foreign buyers are back in New Zealand's housing market, but only at the ultra-luxury end. The government has announced that holders of the $5 million Active Investor Plus visa can now buy or build one home worth at least $5 million on top of their investment. Prime Minister Christopher Luxon says it's about attracting wealthy migrants who bring skills and capital while limiting foreign ownership to less than 1% of the housing stock. Real estate agents say phones are already ringing with interest from offshore buyers, calling it a confidence boost for the economy. But Labour is warning the change will ripple down to the wider market, pushing up prices. Critics also say many of these homes will sit empty, used as bolt holes rather than lived in. Winston Peters and David Seymour insist the $5 million threshold protects ordinary buyers, while investors argue it finally makes sense to let high rollers who pump millions into the economy actually have a home here.